We're here with our first interview of the day with Irish defensive line coach Keith Gilmore. Coach, tell us a little about signing day so far and maybe the guys that we've got in. I know we've got some of your guys in so far, and maybe just talk a little bit about them.
Well, first of all, it's going very well. We've got all the guys in that we were anticipating, and we got a good deal going in the room. We got breakfast going. We got a lot of laughter, a lot of chatter, and the guys are calling in, and it's real exciting at this point. As far as the guys that are coming in to play on the defensive front, we've got Dalen Hayes, first of all, and he's a mid-year enrollee. He's a kid that we've got great anticipation for, and, he's got an exceptional skill set. The kid is a dynamic player, was ranked as a 5-star. His senior season got cut a little bit short, but, he's a kid that I've seen do a lot of different things during the recruiting process. You go out and you watch him practice. He played running back. He played receiver. He played DB.
Right.
He was linebacker, DN. So, he's a special talent, and we're really looking forward to having him, give us some production up front.
You talk about his versatility. Is versatility something that the coaching staff kind of looks for in a recruit, or are you looking for that specialized player? I'm just curious.
Well, you kind of look at both, but when a kid has that versatility, you know that he can do a lot of things for you. And in high school, especially when you got a kid that's not zeroed in, he's a good athlete and he's able to do a lot of things. It's definitely a good sign of the specialness of the player.
Tell me a little bit about the recruiting process, maybe a little bit about your travels, where you've been, and your recruiting area, maybe just to start.
Okay, the process, and when we're talking about Dalen in particular, it's been a long haul. He was committed elsewhere early in the process, and, I just had a feeling that he's a Notre Dame guy. And we just stayed consistent and persistent in the process. And, eventually when things started to turn, we got him out over for a visit and his family. And, we found that it was the place for him. As far as recruiting areas, I'm a Midwest recruiter with a little bit of North Carolina involved in that. And, in your process, it's a long, tiring deal. A lot of days in the hotels, a lot of days on the road that you wake up and you wonder, where am I, what car am I driving, and that. But it's a needed part of the process. And, as we all know, if you don't get good players, you don't have a good football team. So, it's something that we really put a lot of stock into.
So talking about another guy that we just got news in, Julian Arquara signed on the dotted line, so he's officially part of this 2016 class. Tell us a little bit about Julian, and obviously he's got a lineage here.
Little Romeo.
Yeah, little Romeo.
Little Romeo. And I hope he can step in and give us some of the same impact that Romeo did. But Julian's a little bit different than his brother. I think he's a little more of a skilled player as opposed to Romeo. Romeo had a little bit more just brute strength and could dominate at the point, where Julian's a little bit more of a finesse player. He had a great senior season. I think he's going to be a special pass rusher, and he's going to give us a dimension that we're kind of lacking in the D-line right now. I think that he's going to be a special addition to us.
We just got breaking news. Ade just signed on the dotted line as well. Maybe give us a little breakdown of Ade. I'm not going to try to say his last name, just out of respect.
We just call him AKA Ade. But Ade is another defensive end. He's a little bit more of a brute guy at the point of attack, plays really well with his hands. And he's just got that competitive spirit about him. He's going to bring the dynamic of, hey, guys, let's get it rolling and refuse to lose. And, he's a good athlete as well. I looked at some of the things that he's done. He was a starting center in basketball. He threw the disc. He threw the shot. So he's a versatile player as well, but, not as versatile as Dalen. He doesn't do as many things as Dalen did, but he's going to be a special player too.
So you talked a little bit about basketball. I feel like I hear a lot of those stories where coaches go and see somebody playing a basketball game at a track meet or something like that. Is that something that you guys like to do to kind of see a recruit in different light?
Yeah, because sometimes in football, those kids are so specialized that you don't get a chance to see them change direction and move and see how fluid of an athlete they are. And if they can play basketball, they normally end up being pretty solid football players.
That's a good point. Yeah. All right, so talk a little bit about, you mentioned when you were in Dalen's recruiting process that he was a Notre Dame man, and you felt that he was a fit here. How do you go into a room, into a living room, and kind of articulate what Notre Dame is, and then figure out if that's the right fit for this kid? Because Notre Dame really isn't for everyone.
No question. The biggest thing is that, you find a kid, if he wants to be competitive in the classroom and competitive on the football field and be challenged in both, then you're talking about a guy that's going to be a good fit at Notre Dame. I also felt that him being a Midwest guy that to be able to share in that with his family. I thought that the choice that he was talking about making was a little far from home, and I thought that he was going to be disappointed in the long run of not being able to share his college experience with his family. So the combination of academics and athletics and a kid that wants to be challenged in both is, what we're looking for.
Tell us a little bit about that. He's an early enrollee. For you, what exactly does that help you do? What are you looking to do in the next 4 or 5 months in development for the early enrollees?
Well, first of all, just physically, with Coach Longo, get him developed and get him a little bit stronger, a little bit tighter and faster and all those things. But, from a football standpoint, you get a chance to teach the kid the playbook at a slower pace. In spring ball, you have a little more time for teaching and learning how the things work as opposed to the rush of the season, and you got to get ready for a football game. So it gives a young player an opportunity to really learn at a pace that's, good for him.
Another one of those young players that's going to be able to learn at a rapid pace is Khalid Kareem, another early enrollee. Maybe talk a little bit about his recruiting process and what you're looking forward to with him as a member of the Fighting Irish.
Well, Khalid was another one that was committed elsewhere, and we continued to fight in the process of recruiting him. And, he was an extremely productive high school football player. He was a 2-time Dream Team player, academic Dream Team, and I believe he led the state probably in sacks a couple years. He's had 16 sacks one year and 17 the next. And, he's a guy that has been so productive at his position that we couldn't pass on him. So, I think that he has a really good opportunity to come in and play early here.
How do you kind of gauge that success, those stats? Because I feel that some people can really put up great stats and that translates into the college game, but some people don't really have those statistics in high school.
Right. It's rare that you find a kid that's gotten after the quarterback and had the success that he has. But he's a gifted player. He's got great length. Really strong in his hands and a really good first step. And he's learned how to, he's a smart player. And I think that he understands, offensive line stances and indicators with the quarterback and those sorts of things. So he's a little bit ahead of most guys in that respect, and that's what's lended to his success.
I was going to say, when I watched his tape yesterday, I felt like he was just constantly in the backfield, creating pressure in different ways. And I know I'm really looking forward to him as a football player. Tell me a little bit about what you look for in recruiting in terms of culture. I know that it's something that coaches really talk about all the time, but is there something you kind of look for in a kid to know that he's going to fit the culture of the room you're trying to build?
Well, the first thing I want to know, is he a team player or is he a me guy? Mm-hmm. And, and it's okay to have a little bit of me. You want guys that are, confident in themselves, but, does he make the people around him better? I always look forward to talking to people in the school outside of the coaches, with teachers and counselors and the lunch lady or whoever you run into, and see what they have to say about a young man. Because, if he's not good all the way around, he's not going to be a good football player down the stretch for you. And it's all relative. If being a good person, you end up being a good player.
I guess that's a little piece of advice for maybe those recruits and young people watching. You have to be the same guy in every situation, and people are always watching. Now, for the final part of this interview, we're going to put you on the hot seat. We got a segment called The Hot Topic we're going to do with every coach today.
Okay.
And we got 16 questions, obviously, for the class of 2016. I want you to answer them as quickly as you possibly can.
Okay.
Are you prepared? You want to take a deep breath?
Let's try it.
Here we go. The Hot Topic. Would you rather go for 1 or 2?
1.
Would you rather receive or defer?
Receive.
Are you choosing heads or tails?
Heads.
If you were a type of food, what would you be?
Hamburger.
What's your spirit animal?
Say that one again.
What's your spirit animal?
A bird. I don't know.
A bird. All right, that's cool. Kobe or Jordan?
Jordan.
All right. We're no longer friends. What Disney princess are you?
Cinderella.
There you go. Ideal burrito type?
Beef.
Do you think Disney World is a trap operated by a mouse?
No.
Would you rather be Brian Kelly or sports information director Mike Birch for the day?
Brian Kelly.
Do you use umbrellas?
No.
That's ridiculous. Go-to dance move?
Dap.
All right. If your life was a movie, what actor plays you?
Denzel Washington.
Saw that one coming. Scale of 1 to 10, how attractive are you, Coach?
Right now, probably about a 4.
I love it. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
X-ray vision.
Okay. Any particular reason?
I'll keep that one.
Do you like, Coach, do you like being tickled?
Not particularly.
Coach, you made it
No.
through the hot topic.
All right.
I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Great. Thanks.